Hi guys, what's up? How are you guys doing? So this video is like the most requested video on my channel. I see a lot of comments, a lot of DMs asking me to make a video on cost of living in London. So here it is guys, just for you. So before we get started, I want you guys to know that this video has been kindly sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions and get lost in creativity. So there are many class topics that I personally love, starting from gardening, cooking, and there is also a lot to learn about photography and videography. So you guys know how much I love learning more about self-care and also applying it to my daily life. And one such class that I'm going to talk about is based on that. Confidence for Creatives, 5 exercises to grow your confidence and self-care. So this particular class has helped me to build my confidence, and at the same time I got to learn a lot of different self-care techniques. So Skillshare is specifically curated for learning, meaning there are no ads and they are always launching new premium classes. It's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. Also, there's a good news. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. So let's get started. Our first category is rent. London is the most expensive city to rent, and do you know that most of the Londoners pay half of their monthly salary on rent? So London is divided into 9 zones. So basically zone 1 and zone 2 has got most of the attractions, and these zones are extremely expensive to live. Talking about rent, it only depends on the zones you live. If you live near 1 and 2, or if the place that you're gonna live is really near to 1 and 2, that you can easily take a train to 1 and 2, then obviously it's gonna be more expensive for you, and the further you go, there might be a chance that you would pay lesser rent. So the approximate rent that you're gonna pay for 1 BHK would range from 1300 to 1700. Again, it depends on the zone you live and also on other factors like how luxurious it is, if it's furnished or not, and if it's nearer to train station or not. Now talking about 2 BHK, it would range from around 1800 to 2400, again depending on all these factors. You can check out for yourself on sites like Rightmove and Zoopla. These two sites are highly efficient when it comes to showing how much rent you're gonna pay in a particular area and which area you should choose depending on your budget. I would highly recommend these two sites. Now here in London there is also a term called flat share. So flat sharing is basically where you would rent a room in a house and there would be common space that you would use. So how much you're gonna pay? It would range generally from around 400 to 700. This also depends on the house you choose and which zone you are choosing. And also there are few sites that I would highly recommend where you can search for an accommodation like this. Spare Room, Idle Flatmate and Spot a Home are few of the sites that would be really helpful if you're searching for a shared house. Spare Room in particular has got this really handy tool that lets you select your personality and what you want your dream home to be, and it shows you a particular area that you would actually love and also the budget. Good Migration is also another site that will help you find a neighborhood here in London. So basically all you need to do is you need to select your home size, must-haves and the budget, and your ideal area will pop up. So before we move on to other topics, I'm going to talk about 3 tips that you should keep in mind before finding your home. Number 1 would be negotiate. Negotiation is really important. You should negotiate your rent with the landlord, and sometimes the rent is quite overpriced, so when you negotiate you will save some money. Number 2 would be check the crime rate of that area. It's really important that you check the crime rate. You just need to Google and see if the crime rate is low or high. So it's a very important thing that you should do and you should be really cautious about. Number 3 would be renting home in South London. So it's much more cheaper. It will save your money, and you can search through the areas in South London. You can easily find something that would suit your budget. And the best part is if you have an office in Central London, you can easily take a transport and reach within like 20 to 30 minutes. So our second category is utilities. What comes under utilities is heating, electricity, water, broadband plus TV. So on a monthly basis, we pay around £50 on electricity, 25 on water. When it comes to heating, it depends on winter or summer. During winter time, the heater is mostly used, so we pay around 35. But during summer, it's not used that often, so we pay only £20. So another tip that I would like to give you guys is using sites like Money Supermarket and Usage. So basically, these sites are comparison sites. If you think that you are paying a lot of amount on electricity and gas, I would highly recommend to use these sites and compare. There are a lot of different providers. You can actually choose the provider that you think fits your budget, and at the same time there are a lot of discounts too. So now talking about broadband plus TV, this completely depends on what plan you're going to choose, how much internet you would like to use throughout the month, and what's your speed. It generally ranges from about 35 to £50. Again, it depends on your preference. So now moving on to our third category, and that is council tax. So basically, it's a fee that your local council charges you for rubbish collection, road maintenance, and for cleanliness, for libraries. And we pay around £126 monthly on council tax. So the amount of council tax depends on the value of your home and the area that you live. So to check your council tax, I have mentioned a link in the description. You can check your council tax. Just you have to add your postcode, and the amount of council tax you need to pay will pop up. Now moving on to our fourth category, and that is TV license. When you have to pay this license, so basically you have to pay it if you have got TV connection, or if you are watching live shows, or recording it. And thirdly, if you use BBC iPlayer, so it's quite evident that you have to pay TV license, and we pay around £159 every year. You can also choose a monthly payment option. Now moving on, our fifth category is travel. So most of the commuters either use Oyster card, travel card, or contactless card to pay for their travel. So the thing is, if you're buying single day ticket every time you travel, you are paying a lot more than what you would pay if you're using an Oyster card. So I would highly recommend to use one. So the best part about using Oyster card is it has a daily cap, meaning once you have reached that specific limit on rides, the rest of the rides would be free. Now talking about cost of travel, it generally depends on zones. So basically in between zone 1 and 2, it would cost around £2.40 per ride during peak hours. So what is peak hours? Peak hours is generally before 9:30 a.m. Monday to Friday, and in the evening it's from 4 to 6. During this time the price is quite high. If you travel off peak, you can save some money. The best way to find out what you're going to pay for the ride would be app like City Mapper that would show exactly how much you're going to pay, and also site like TFL. I have linked everything in the description box for you guys to check out. Now talking about cabs, it would cost around 8 to 35 £35 on an average per ride. And talking about buses, oh, I love buses because it saves you a lot of money. So it just costs around £1.55 per ride, and the best part is you can take multiple rides within 1 hour of touching in. Now talking about us, my husband pays around £136 on an average every month on travel. Now talking about me, most of the days I work from home and only few days in a week I travel to central London for content creation. The first thing that I do is take a bus and then take a train, and it adds up to the expenses. The best way to reduce these expenses is staying nearest to train station. Also, London has got amazing cycling paths. If you have a cycle, then you can easily cycle to work. There are a lot of different schemes as well, like cycle to work scheme, and I really think that it's the best option. So now moving on to our next category, which is my favorite, and that's food/groceries. So my husband and I are vegetarians, and we both prefer freshly cooked meals. We spend around £250 on both of us per month. And yes, let me talk about my favorite tips for saving money on groceries. So number one, do you see these smaller grocery stores like Tesco and Sainsbury's on the side of the road? You wouldn't even know, and you would spend a lot of money on groceries if you buy from these stores. I would highly recommend to visit bigger stores like Tesco Extra, maybe Sainsbury's. These places have got some really good offers, and it would actually save you a lot of money. So number two would be applying for a loyalty card. In my case, I have got Tesco Club card, and it saves a lot of money because I get points on those cards, and later on I can redeem these points. Also, there are few items that has got a special club card price. So if you have a card, you would pay lot less amount on that particular product than somebody who didn't have a card would pay. Number three would be the supermarkets that aren't that expensive. I would say Tesco Extra, Aldi, Lidl are comparatively, better priced than Waitrose, M&S and Sainsbury. If you ask me, I really love Waitrose and Tesco equally. Number four would be visiting comparison sites before buying any item. My Supermarket Compare is an amazing site. So basically you can type in your item that you want to buy and see which store has got offers on that product. So that's quite amazing, and it helps you save some money. Now moving on to our final category, and that is lifestyle. Under this category, there are numerous subcategories. Number one is dining. If you're someone who loves eating out, then on an average, you would pay around 20 to 40 pounds at a mid-range restaurant. Yes, the food is quite expensive. Next is cinema. So if you're somebody who loves movie like I do, then you certainly would love what I'm going to talk about. It's unlimited Cineworld card. So Cineworld offers this card that is called Unlimited, and you just need to pay certain sum of money every month, and you can watch unlimited 2D movies. We pay around 17 pounds per month per person on this card. It saves a lot of money on cinema because generally you would pay on an average around 8 to 16 pounds per movie, and here you are getting unlimited movies. Third subcategory is phone. So it really depends on what plan you choose, what your usage would be, but on an average it would be around 10 pounds to 25 pounds per month. So moving on, next is Netflix. As we all know, it's quite essential to have a Netflix subscription. So on an average, you would pay around £6 here in the UK. But what we do is we ask for passwords from our family back in India because it's much more cheaper there. So now moving on, it's going out here in London. So if you're somebody like me who loves exploring London, then I really don't think that you have to spend a lot of money here, because most of the attractions like the museums, the parks are free of cost. I have created free things to do in London videos on places like Canary Wharf, Primrose Hill, Hampstead Heath, Royal Parks. So you can visit that playlist and watch all these videos so that you can get an idea what you can do when you're here in London for free. Last but not the least, let's talk about gym. So basically on an average you would pay around 20 to 40 pounds per month on a gym membership, and yes, there are numerous gyms around London that have got really amazing offers. So that was it guys. I hope you liked this informative video. If you did, then give it a thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel. Also don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook because I regularly post some informative content there as well. Bye for now.